Oi oi my drillers, it's your geezer Big Daddy Cow here for a brand new video, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about setting up your cooldowns, specifically your defensive cooldowns in NSRT, the Northern Sky Raid Tools. That's the add-on we're using instead of Method Raid Tools, this expansion. So a bit of a difference from the last video I've done on setting up defensives. But if you do still use Method Raid Tools, then check out my old video from last season. Should still work, should still be exactly fine. So this time round, we have a little bit of extra setup, but it's not too hard. Once you figure out what you're doing, you're smooth sailing. So, bosh. We're coming over here to a website called Wowutils for serial cooldowns. What we do, come up to this little 3-line thingy with dots and whatnot. You can see all the bosses here. What I'm going to do with you guys today is I'm going to set up my Chimera Snow with you guys. I haven't made one yet, and I'm going to do it here on the video for your benefit. So, what we're going to do, hit the little plus here, makes a new little Chimeras thing. I'm going to hit this little arrow up here. I'm going to add my own character. So I want to do my cooldowns for my main Accretius. Some of you may call me a slacker for not already having this done. However, I don't really care what you think. Haven't been intending to pull the boss. My first pull is going to be on Thursday, which is in 2 days as of recording this video. So I'm all good in my books. Anyway, enough excuses. So, as I've added myself here, you can see I've now appeared, and I have my blur and my darkness assigned. Now, normally in my guild, I leave my darkness assignment to my healers, so I don't do it. But what you can do is in spell filters, if you don't see everything, like initially, I don't see my blur. So, if I hit defensives here, then I can bring that up. Equally, I can add other things, like CC. Say on Nexus King Salhadar, I can put in personal notes for when to use my Void Nova and my Disrupt. But for now, I'm just going to go over defensives. Now, of course, Devour is quite an easy one. Not many defensives I have to manage. As I say, my group is managing Darkness. My healers are assigning Darkness, so I don't do it for myself. I'm only doing Blur. So, there's not going to be too much to go on about. But, yeah, one thing to keep in mind, though, with Blur, I've got 2 charges of it. So, yeah, whatever. Let's just get into it. We're going to go on to logs. This is how we're going to see where I want to be popping my defensives, roughly. So, I'm going to come on to Devourer. There's a little niche thing with Devourer, a little bit of tech I need to tell you guys. With Devourer, it does not show your blur. If you're a Devourer like me and you want to go through things, you can't see blur on here, but it does show up on Havoc. That's the wrong button. If I just quickly go back, I go to Havoc, then Bosch. Some of you guys may need this tech for other specs. You know, maybe there's other classes at the moment which you're not seeing your defensive cooldowns being shown. It's weird, but whatever. I can go on Havoc and I can see my other one, and it works the same way on Havoc and Devourer, so let's chill. Now what I'm doing here is I'm just removing everything that's not necessary. I only want to look at my blurs. That's all that matters for me. Some people may choose to look at more defensives. Say if I were my Warlock, I'd be looking at Dark Pact and Unending Resolve. And then also Healthstone usage, as you've got Demonic Healthstone, of course. But as a Devourer, I only need to look at Blur here, as my healers are assigning Darkness anyway. So, what I can see here is there's a lot of blurs either pop to the 20-second mark or the 40-50 second mark or even the 1 minute mark. What that's probably going to mean is we've got a consume coming out about 1 minute 8. That's a lot of massive AoE damage. I can check that if I just go in the adventure journal, raids, Dream Rift, Chimeras, abilities, where's consume, here we go. Consumes the essence of its enemies, inflicting 178k every 2 seconds for 10 seconds. Everyone, we all take a bit of damage. So, yeah, that's definitely a good point to put some defensives on. As you can see, a lot of people are popping defensives around that area. Some people aren't, some people are. We've also got the Dust Upheaval ability, which is when we go down into the rift. Now, this is one where you may know, depending on where you're assigned, is when you'll be going down. So, say I'm in, like, the first assignment, I'll be going down first, of course. And so I might want to be using a defensive for when the soak lands. But say I'm in the second assignment group, then I might want to be saving it for the 1 minute 30 mark. But yeah, as you can see, it's pretty straightforward. You've got the you can see important abilities on logs, Rift Emergence, Dust Upheaval, Consume, and should poison. Nah, the poison thing isn't too bad. And then Ravenous Dive when he lands, and the fight. The intermission's over and the fight continues again. So now I've got a general idea of when people are popping their defensives. It seems to be around the Dust Upheaval, the Consumes, and with these random blurs, as I can't really see an ability, I'm just assuming it's when the poison's going out during the intermission, and it's just another blur to add because there's a free charge and might as well reduce the damage. So, what can I do here? Let's assume that I am gonna be in the first group going down. So, at like 19 seconds-ish, I know there's going to be the first Dust Upheaval. I can check just by hovering over. So, I'm going to put a blur just a second beforehand. That way, I've got the notification on my screen. I might choose to delay it when playing, because of course, it doesn't press the button for me. But, I know that's fine. I know that blur is also going to see me through just into the poison coming out, the Caustic Phlegm. Not going to help me with the second one, but it is going to help me with the initial damage of the first one. And the initial damage from the Dust Upheaval. Then, because I've got a second charge, I can overlap my cooldowns a bit. As you can see, the striped, like diagonally striped area, that's when the defensive's active. And then the rest of the coloured in box, that's the cooldown. So, I know with my second charge, I can comfortably put one within the cooldown range. This Consume is at 1 minute 9. So, we just drop this blur at 1 minute 8. That should cover the entire Consume. Now, if I were Group 2, I'd put my Dust thing here for 1 minute 30, but I'm not. The next blur I want to be using, realistically, is gonna be for the next Consume. We'll do that at 2:19. Then, intermission hits. I should have a charge. But I've also got to keep in mind that I need another blur for the next Dust Upheaval. So, the question is, do I have time between 3:20 and 4:19? It's a 1 minute cooldown. I've of course used 2 charges in between. This point, I'm not entirely sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in the raid and I'm going to see what happens. If I notice during the intermission, I have both charges of blur ready, then you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add another blur, like probably around here for this poison. Not sure if I do though, so I'm going to right click that off for now and just ignore it. I'm just going to keep it safe and simple for now. So, I've got that blur used, but wait, we've got another Consume. If I do have it off cooldown, bosh, we use it for Consume at 5:09. And then, if I do have it off cooldown for the final Consume at 6:20, then boom, 6:19. I'll do another blur. These are my important blurs sorted. I have defensives for every single Consume, and my Dust Upheavals. Consume, of course, does quite big damage, so it's good to have. It can also be worth you checking if we want. We can go in logs here, and yeah, let's just take a look at the rank 1 log, and we're gonna go and have a quick look at the team's damage taken. This should be a good indicator to see what is doing the abilities, and I'm not quite sure. Taken from ability. This should show, I think, yeah, this is what we're looking for. So as we can see, the poison is actually really big damage. It comes out 9 times. If we look here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 11 poisons over the fight. Now, of course, with some of my defensives, I am getting a bit of an overlap to keep me safe. But a lot of the rest of it, this is probably just going to be healed up due to the nature of it being a damage over time effect. The next thing to consider is Consume. That's the next highest damage. What do we know about Consume? It pulls you in. It's harder for healers to be casting and topping you up during this time. So having my defensive to Consume is going to really help me just live and ease pressure off the healers. It is also very worth me having some form of defensive for Caustic Phlegms if I can do it. But yeah, for the most part, it's Consume and Caustic Phlegm, which are the big damage dealers. As for Undust Upheaval, I might be thinking, maybe I don't use a defensive here. It's actually quite a low hit. 115k is the average hit. Now, of course, you know, there are moments where you can see here where you're taking an Undust Upheaval and then going straight into a Caustic Phlegm. What I might want to do is take a look at logs here. As you can see, this blur is a bit delayed after the upheaval. Quite a few people, actually, have their blur. Some have it before, some have it after. So some DHs are opting to hold for Phlegm, get a bit of damage reduction on that, and some are opting to just send it right away. Some are also opting to do it on the later Phlegm. As you can see, there's 50 and 42 seconds. The Phlegm is at 53 seconds, so potentially the 40-second blur is like maybe not that much value. Might have been a panic blur from someone. But 52 seconds, you're definitely getting some good value from there as you're reducing the damage you take from the Caustic Phlegm. So this is something I might want to consider as I go back into the fight. If I notice I'm taking a lot of damage or I'm just feeling squishy, it's something on my mind now. I've checked the damage taken for the fight. I know Phlegm does a lot of damage. I know Consume is quite a rough moment for the healers. There's a lot of damage going out there. You've also got to take this with a pinch of salt, because sometimes the damage is reduced by people using their defensives when you see these logs, and they might just be everyone committing defensives on Consume, but not on Phlegm, which is why Consume seems a lot weaker than Phlegm. So yeah, that's sort of the stuff I'd be looking out for when planning my cooldowns. Now that I feel like I'm confident in what I want to run, I'm going to go and copy these CDs. Hit the copy CDs button. I'm going to go back into World of Warcraft. I'm going to type in /NSRT. We're going to go to the reminders tab. Personal reminders. We're going to import a personal reminder. Control V this in. Import it. And then we are just going to load it. Also show it, and you can see the cooldowns you've already imported and change it a little bit. But yeah, when we want to be loading this on the ready check, and yeah, I mean I personally load it before for the ready check. I load it before I'm doing the fight, but I load it again on a ready check just to be safe. And then I'm gonna get a massive thing that says blur on my screen, and so that's gonna keep me reminded during the fight and keep me safe. But yeah, that is pretty much the gist of how you can set up your defensive cooldowns for NSRT in World of Warcraft Midnight. If you have any questions, please ask down below, or you know, probably if you've got any questions specific to the add-on itself, I'd recommend going to the Discord and asking their Discord, not mine. I'm not an add-on expert by any means. I am just a raid leader who wants my raiders to press their defensives. Hence why I'm making this video, in hopes that, you know, this can help other people out there to up their defensive game, survive more fights, and progress as raiders. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Sweet.